All right, one more topic. And I've had this because what I do is I keep a list of topics I want to get to here and then maybe post at PFT. This is something I've been thinking about for a while. And Joe Burrow's comments to my friends Big Cat and my internet son PFT commenter about flag football made me realize now's the time to address this. And Burrow said to them that he wants to play flag football in 2028 when flag football is part of the Olympics. And we've heard other NFL players say, I'd like to be involved in this. Right. You want to get a gold medal if you can. And because they don't have tackle football in the Olympics, and they never will, there was a time when they were kind of testing out the possibility of tackle football growing to the point where it could be an Olympic sport. And frankly, I think it would be a great winter Olympic sport, better than summer if it's tackle football. The problem is you got to have enough countries doing it, and it's got to be men's and women's. It's so much easier to do flag football. More countries can get involved. Men's and women's flag football teams will be assembled. And the NFL, coincidental to this effort that was ultimately successful to make flag football part of the Olympics, the NFL is all in with flag football. It's flag football this and it's flag football that. And there's a caveat. The old school football people look at flag football and look at the NFL's effort to encourage and advance flag football as a potential threat. And I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying they're concerned. It's a potential threat to the supply of tackle football players. Because if we start diverting kids from tackle football to flag football, which really it's two different sports, different skills, different abilities, different mental and physical tests when you don't have the kind of contact that you have in tackle football. But by pushing them toward flag football, it pushes them away from tackle, and it potentially undermines the supply of, in the future, players who are the best of the best. When the commissioner was testifying a couple of years ago this month in the lawsuit over whether or not the NFL is going to get insurance coverage for the concussion settlement, he was pressed on this issue of the potential existential threat to football from kids not being allowed to play youth football. And he said, oh, well, we don't really care about that because there's such a small percentage that finally make it to the NFL. But the thing is, if you start taking kids that could eventually make it to the NFL and having them play other sports and never developing as football players with helmets and shoulder pads and everything that goes with playing tackle football, you are hurting the supply. You are. Included within the large percentage of folks who would have never played in the NFL anyway, who are not playing tackle football, are the diamonds in the haystack, as Chris Sims would say. So this is similar but different. And yes, you could say, well, hey, at least they're playing football, and maybe some of these skills like passing and catching, because it's basically 7-on-7, that's transferable. It is to an extent, but it's still, if it becomes bigger and bigger, if flag football becomes a thing, and look, I don't know. Do you want to watch flag football? Ask yourself that question about any Olympic event. In a vacuum, you take away the national pride and the gold, silver, and bronze medals. Do you really care about flag football? Maybe you do. Maybe they'll be successful. Maybe they'll force it on us enough that we'll eventually say, okay, fine. I like it. It's like that meal you have to eat over and over and over again. After a while, you realize, I kind of like it now. I've acquired a taste for flag football. Most of us prefer to watch tackle football 11-on-11. Flag football, and I've seen it, it's been on TV before. It's like, maybe it's fun for them. It really isn't fun for us to watch. They're banking on that changing. But the core concern for some of those old school football people is, why are we taking potential tackle football players and dangling some other version of the sport, which really isn't the same sport, in their faces, and maybe luring them away from playing tackle football? Something to keep an eye on. All right. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.